daily newspaper analysis, which is brought to you by LawSikho. So today we will be analyzing the important news articles and editorials for 18th and 19th April. So today we have one article at length for our discussion, which has been taken from today's The Indian Express newspaper. The title of this article is Right to Repair. So as the name itself is suggesting, this is basically a consumer's right to get its various kinds of goods repaired, like for example, our phones, televisions, etc., and the various other kinds of such goods that we use in our daily lives. So what is basically the right to repair, and how can we actually have it, and what is the importance of having this right to repair will be discussed here. In the second segment, we'll be talking about the news updates, which are the important awards, appointments, etc., that are important for our prelims exam. And finally, we'll be concluding the discussion with the important legal news that will be covering the latest case laws as well. With this, let's get started with the first article of the day, which talks about right to repair. So let's understand that why all this entire thing is into news nowadays. So a critical issue that is there with the consumer technology goods is that although the market is bustling with them, repairing them becomes unreasonably expensive and is becoming obsolete. Here we will consider a very good example while we are discussing at length, and then we will be able to understand this article with great ease. So the planned obsolescence often causes the products to break down very soon, and the consumer is forced to replace them since repairing the same will be costlier. Now here, before we get into discussion, let's talk about any product that we have from the company Apple. So maybe a lot of you listeners might be using some of the products, maybe a laptop, a MacBook, whatever we call as the iPhone, or all of these stuff. So many times we notice that if at all there is any kind of harm that is caused to either the hardware or the software of an Apple product to say, so many times we say that rather than getting it repaired, it's always better and more feasible to maybe buy a new device, because in India, repairing these products is another huge task. Repairing is already too expensive that it does not seem very feasible to just repair, and we think that it's always better to buy a new device. Here, at this moment, the right to repair that a consumer should have gets hampered. So let's see what the article says, that Apple has, however, broken off from this chain and announced that customers will be able to access spare parts after an order from the Federal Trade Commission of the United States directs the manufacturers to drop their anti-competitive practices. Here, once again, let's consider that it is not easy to get access to these spare parts, which ultimately make these spare parts so expensive. Just consider a situation that the screen of an iPhone breaks. So it takes, let's say, maybe 8 to 10,000 rupees in the proper Apple service center to get it repaired. And that is definitely not feasible for a person who might have just bought the phone. So, however, in India, the momentum is very slow. So as we were just discussing, most of the countries, on the other hand, have been trying to make policies and laws to secure the right to repair. So monopoly in the right to repair infringes the right to choose, as has been recognized by the Consumer Protection Act 2019. So the right to repair has even been partially acknowledged in the case of Shamsher Kataria versus Honda Seal Cars India Limited, where the Competition Commission of India held that restricting access to independent automobile units to spare parts was anti-competitive. And that is why it is important that the spare parts, the things that are important for us as consumers to be availed with in order to make good, proper, and the most efficient use of the devices, the cars, automobiles, various electronic gadgets that we are using. So they should be available. And if at all there is a monopoly in this direction, so this will definitely account to be anti-competitive, which definitely will not be liked by the Competition Act of the country. So the Australian consumer law identifies right to repair in a restrictive manner where the consumers can request for repair. But Australia has also has repair cafes that allow volunteer fixers to gather and share their knowledge. So in United Kingdom in 2021, it also introduced the right to repair that makes it binding for the manufacturers to provide spare parts. And the government here should bring in a well-drafted legislation that upholds the right of the customer to repair their products in a cost-effective manner, either by themselves or any third-party outfit. So here it is just not harm to the customer as at large, but also it actually hampers the complete system of the market as well, wherein a person who could easily afford that product one time, it might be a possibility that that person is not able to afford a repair of that particular thing or even buy a new product in such a small span. Due to this, many times a large share of the population remains, it remains hindered, or it remains very much hidden, or it is not able to avail various kinds of technological advancements that take place in the other section of the society, due to which definitely the people of the country are not able to grow all at once. So definitely each one of us as consumers should be given the right to repair, which would also be money saving as well as time saving for the consumers and the manufacturers as well. With this, let's see what do we have for news updates. So Lt.Gen.Manoj Pande has been appointed as the new army chief. So Lt.Gen. Manoj Pande will take over as the 29th chief of the Indian Army, replacing General Manoj Mukund Narabane, who was in charge of the top post since December 31st, 2019. So Lt.Gen. Manoj Pande is the first engineer to become the chief of army staff and will take a charge on May 1st. Second, PTI member becomes new POK premier. So Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf's regional, that is PTI, regional president Sardar Tanveer Ilyas was on Monday elected as the new premier or the new leader of the Pakistan-occupied Kashmir in the election boycotted by the opposition. So Khan nominated Ilyas as the party's candidate after his hand-picked premier Sardar Abdul Qayyum Niazi resigned on Thursday following a revolt in the ruling party against him. Third, Semicon India 2022. So Semicon India 2022 basically is a 3-day conference that is being organized to take forward the vision to make India a leader in electronics, manufacturing, semiconductor design, manufacturing and innovation. Speaking about the India Semicon mission at the event, Chandrasekhar said that PM's vision is to make India a significant player in the global semiconductor value chain. Also note that recently a PLI, that is the Production Linked Incentive Scheme, has also been launched for the semiconductor manufacturing in the country. So first time in the 75 years, rapid decisive strides have been made in this space. Fourthly, World Heritage Day, 18th April. So the World Heritage Day, which is also known as the International Monuments and Sites Day, is being celebrated. So it celebrates the work carried out by the ICOMOS, which is basically the International Council on Monuments and Sites. So this day is all about increasing the awareness of the importance of the diversity of cultural heritage and preserving it for generations in the future. Fifth, Army Commanders Conference. So the Army Commanders Conference is to be held in Delhi from April 18 to 22. It is an apex level biannual event that is held every year in April and October and serves as a platform for conceptual level deliberations, culminating in making important policy decisions for the Indian Army. Here we have a good news that Sajan Prakash wins gold in Danish open swimming. So top Indian swimmer Sajan Prakash won the men's 200-meter butterfly gold, and Vedant Madhavan bagged silver medal in the men's 1500-meter freestyle event at the Danish Open Swimming Meet in Copenhagen, Denmark. Next, 75th edition of Santosh Trophy kicks off. So in Kerala, 75th edition of the Santosh Trophy kicks off at the football crazy Malappuram this morning. So Bengal, who won the trophy 32 times in the past, takes on Punjab at the Kottapadi Stadium in the opening match. So 10 teams will be vying for the coveted title in the final round of the tournament, which begins today. 8th, Tropical Storm Megi. So Tropical Storm Megi, known in the Philippines as Tropical Storm Egerton, was a weak but deadly tropical cyclone that impacted the Philippines in April 2022. So this is the third tropical depression and the second tropical storm of the 2022 Pacific typhoon season. Megi originated from an area of convection in the Philippine Sea, where it slowly tracked northwestward into the Leyte Gulf, where it remained almost stationary, tracking to the east. Now let's see what do we have for the legal news update. So divorced Muslim women can claim maintenance from husband under section 125 of the Criminal Procedure Code as long as she does not remarry. So this has been held by the ALlahabad High Court in the case of Razia versus State of UP. So the ALlahabad High Court has reiterated that the principle laid down in the case of Shah Banu versus Imran Khan and held that a Muslim woman who is divorced is entitled to claim maintenance from her husband under section 125 of the CrPC as long as she does not remarry. The same is also valid even after the period of iddat is over. That is for section 125 deals with the order of maintenance of wives, children and parents. Please note here that the period of iddat is actually the time where that a woman has to stay indoors even if she is divorced or her husband dies. So in that case, the period of iddat is observed by the woman. Next, we have Victim has the right to be heard at every stage from investigation to culmination of trial in appeal or revision, says the Supreme Court in the case of Jagjit Singh and others versus Ashish Mishra and at Monu and another. So the Supreme Court held that the victim, as defined under Section 2 of the CrPC, has a right to be heard at all stages post the occurrence of an offence, including the stage of adjudication or bail application of the accused. So this was all for the day. If you liked the session, please give it a thumbs up. Also, please do not forget to subscribe to our channel. If you wish to download the PDF of today's slides, you can join our Telegram channel. The link is there in the description box below, or you can also scan this QR code that you can see on the screens right now. Also, for other content, you may follow us on Instagram for Judiciary, CLAT Prep, as well as UGC Net. Thank you so much.